Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday. Another episode of Kicking It with the Kenneys with No Static Radio and Epic Production. I'm sitting here with my dear friend, Bernard Keith. Been one of my bestest buddies lately, y'all. We've had a busy week since last Wednesday. A very busy week, if y'all can't tell. So last Thursday, let's start off with that. Bernard, myself, and the Epic Vice President, Lex, we traveled to Detroit, Michigan. Lansing, Michigan. We had a past guest, Marvin Cotton Jr. and Ken Nixon on here a few weeks ago when we were promoting our wrongful conviction rally. We went because we felt obligated to show up in support of, their organized efforts, which was to end mass incarceration, which is a big thing for all of us, regardless if people are guilty or not. Mass incarceration is just on the rise, but we're ready to change that. We are ready to be the solutions to tackle all of that mass incarceration one by one, believe it or not. I think we're strong enough, Bernard. What you think?
I know we're going to do it. All we got to do is persevere and stick to the plan.
Persistence and pressure. My favorite words, right? Yeah. We traveled to Lansing. Very phenomenal event. They had it on the Capitol, right at the front steps. Some very phenomenal speakers, the National Organization of Exonerees. I know the microphones are in the way, but shout out to them because we know Gina don't wear black and yellow.
Right.
I'm just saying, y'all. I bleed brown and orange all day long till my grave. And I told them that I support them in full efforts. And this right here, if anybody knows me personally, knows you would never ever catch me with black and yellow. Never. But anyhow, that's besides the point. We showed up in solidarity, sat on the lawn, listened to everyone speak, got caught up in a pretty bad storm. It poured on us. But it was pretty powerful. We got to meet some senators from Michigan. They had several organizations there in solidarity, several people there fighting for their loved ones. I can't tell you how many faces on poster boards I've seen there. And at one point, they tried to call everybody out. What do you think about the event?
It was wonderful. I mean, I learned a lot. I met a lot of people, and they were directed. All right, they were directed. They knew what their objective was. They had a set plan as how to go with it. I was kind of amazed, right, because of how they put it together and the sheer number of people that was there that had loved ones that were wrongfully incarcerated or
overly convicted
or was convicted and has been held past the point where they just unnecessary incarceration, just continued incarceration. It kind of confirmed a belief that I have, a factual belief that I have, in which I said it all the time. It's about numbers.
It is.
And because it's about numbers, and the numbers are financially motivated, you don't care who they lock up. Right. I need a body. I need somebody to put there. Yep. If you didn't do it, you should have did it. All right. And it was just so discerning, man. People hurting. People 30, 40 years, 30 years, 35 years, 40 years. I mean, come on now. Come on. All right. I mean,
it's sickening. It's inhumane and it's immoral, honestly. Thursday we did that. Friday, and Bernard actually was there as well. Oh man. Oh, by the way, I got the reply back.
Okay.
Gotta send it to you because it's hilarious. I love my KK. But anyways, we're gonna have a little discussion indirectly about that in a little bit. So stay tuned because man, it's been a powerful week, y'all. Like I can't even tell you how blessed we've been this week. So Friday we went to an event at Cleveland Martial Law at Cleveland State University. And watched a very powerful panel. It was Michael Thompson from Michigan, and we're going to connect him with, the National Organization of Exonerees and get him some local help. He was brought home this past year on a marijuana life charge. He had already spent like, I think probably 30 plus years. But yeah, he came home. RKK was his attorney. And then there was Ruel Saylor. We had him in studio a couple of times. He's like my brother. He was exonerated after 15 years. Again, KK, his lawyer, that was her first exoneration. Kudos to her, because that happened back in 2018.
For sure.
And then she also had Charles Jackson, who was wronged by the system for ever, 30 plus years. So, yeah. And then there was John Tejan, who was zoomed in through Zoom, obviously, on the big screen. And he sat in and got to listen. He didn't really get to talk much. It was, how Zoom works, and we're all in-person audience. And there was a panel, and there were people asking questions. But it was nice just to see them all up on stage together. And Kim did a great job hosting, and she was also nominated as the leader on the rise, because she's bomb. She's a pit bull in a skirt. And then I was invited to a personal type dinner for like all these lawyers and judges, and it was super weird. Actually, Justice Donnelly was there, so I felt kind of privileged being around all these people. It was very inspiring, though, y'all. Moving mountains, trying to. So that was a pretty powerful event. Dinner was amazing. They had the Hall of Fame induction. They usually induct people after 10 years. So, this was kind of like an early induction for Kim Corral. I'm just truly proud of her, and I love watching her work. Every time she brings somebody home, it really moves me, y'all, for real. She's a beast. And then, let's see. We kind of timed out for the weekend, right? Am I missing anything on the weekend?
No, I'll stay home. I did rest.
We didn't do anything epic over the weekend together. Moving on to what? Today, right?
Yes.
So, yesterday. So this week, we'll just say this week. So yesterday, Epic was in presence of a case that everybody needs to hear about. I've been screaming it all over my Facebook. So if you're Facebook friends with me, you've seen it. Isaiah Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say his name again, y'all.
Isaiah
Andrews. Google him. He was trending yesterday. He's going to be the man of the week. And if I have any power in doing so, I will keep on making sure it spreads internationally, honestly. Isaiah Andrews was wrongfully incarcerated for 46 years. They released him last year and granted him a new trial. We hosted a really quick action about a month and a half ago for him because they were supposed to, either grant him his new trial or dismiss the case, whatever the judge decided to do, right? And his lawyers actually had to postpone the court date. So last week, they deliberated for like 9 hours. Fast forward to yesterday. Isaiah has court. And again, I tried to do like a really fast boots on ground, people meet us downtown. We need to make sure people know, like, this man's upstairs getting ready to be in court after 46 years of being wrongfully incarcerated at the age of 83, frail as can be, in a wheelchair with an ankle monitor bracelet on his frail ankle. And it's been there since he's been home. I just want to say, thankfully, he has support by OIP, Ohio Innocence Project, and especially Charles Jackson staying with him, and, Charles doing everything he can to, tend to his needs. I know Ruel and Chris have been checking on him, and everyone else as well. But it's sad. It was very heartbreaking yesterday to be in this courtroom, to say the least. So, we were all on high hopes. Myself and Keyshawn, which he'll be joining us soon. He's from National Black Accord. We were outside, boots on ground, obviously on the loudspeaker, bringing the much needed awareness, not just to Isaiah's case, but the fact that there's an Isaiah Andrews today being convicted. There's an Isaiah Andrews tomorrow going to be convicted, and so on and so forth. So now's the time that we need to start putting our foot down on the problems. and making them aware that we're out here, we're watching, and we're going to make sure that we really start exposing your guys' misconduct. There is no longer sweeping it underneath a rug and filing motions to shut people up, because we, the people, will not be silenced. Epic's been preaching that. We will not be silenced, period. We have rights. We're citizens. And we just demand for y'all, people of power, above us, you know, those people that are above us, to allow the citizens to be the people of the power, period. But we were really hopeful. You know, Isaiah rolled up in his wheelchair, you know, him and his team. He was smiling and great hopes. Spirits were real high. You know, we got you, Isaiah. We got you. There's no way. They have no other choice but to dismiss this case. We were all on high hopes and expectations. But at the end of the day, Isaiah Andrews right now is sitting in front of Tim McGinty. Prosecutor Tim McGinty is now the visiting judge for Nancy McDonald, who passed away a couple years ago. And I want to know if anybody's listening, and I'm going to keep repeating this because I only see that a couple people are watching it on our live and a couple of people are watching it on the other ones, but we're going to keep asking this. I want to know, we want to know, the people want to know, what is your opinion about McGinty being appointed on the bench for Nancy McDonald? And do you feel that when it came to him especially, that it should have been up to us, the people who appoint these judges, right, to have had some say-so in that? Because I'm going to tell you what, depending on how this case goes, he can't no longer sit on that bench, y'all. He can't. And everyone's entitled to their personal opinions, but let's just hope justice is served in this case, because Isaiah is 83 years old. It's time for him to get justice and be exonerated and be able to live his life, you know, freely, with no ankle monitor bracelet. No more sitting in court we sat in court today for, we were in there from 9 o'clock till about 1:30 was when they came out and adjourned it. And poor Isaiah just sat there in a wheelchair, tired as can be, still hopeful. He's got great faith. I spoke to him today, and he has great faith in this juror and feels like that they're going to do the right thing. Because now that the judge decided yesterday that his last resort would be to dismiss the case, which was insane to us, honestly. It was insane to everybody in the courtroom, even the media. But now it places his freedom in the hands of jurors of his peers. So let's just hope that now they do the right thing, right? But today we sat in the courtroom from 9 till about 1:30 and never even rose for the judge or anything like that. And court again tomorrow. They say 9 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, you could sit down there all day long and not even see the judge.
Let me tell you of a procedure that occurs in corrections and the judicial system. All right. Anybody that's been involved with it knows what the term bullpen therapy involves. That's when you call down to go to court. You don't go to court. You had to sit on a hard bench for 8-9 hours. They give you a little bologna sandwich, little cop-out sandwich, what they call it, because you get enough of them. You don't want to eat them no more because they terrible, all right? But it's the process and procedures of the judicial system that mandates bullpen therapy in part, all right? I mean, I don't want to see it happen with Isaiah. I don't want to see it happen with anybody. I didn't want to experience it when I did it, all right? And generally, you know, I mean, only blessing he's in the community. But when you're incarcerated, they put you in a room that'll hold 12 people with 30 people, all right? And you can't find a place to sit down. You got to lay on the floor. It's cold, you know, and they give you this sandwich and you just sit there from 7 in the morning, sometime to 3 in the afternoon, and they give you a bologna sandwich, all right? This is done, I guess, to soften you up, all right? To induce you to agree or plead to something that would be not in your best interest, you know?
Right.
It's not right. It's never been right, I'm not sure how to prevent it or keep it from happening, but it's like water. You look at it, it's water. I mean, I'm sorry to have these strange adages or examples, but I was there. I came in and I told
love Bernard's analogies for real, because he definitely puts things into a different perspective.
I told you, I said, hey, I got to go in a minute. He said, nothing will happen today. This is bullpen therapy.
Yeah,
I know what this is.
I mean, he definitely needs the presence down there. He definitely needs the support.
Well, Mars was arranged, so I can't get there. But anyway.
The judge needs, I'm serious. It's not even just the judge. Cuyahoga County needs to really see that we have our eyes on them, and we have had them on them for a while now. And I don't know who they think they are and why they seem to think that none of this stuff was ever going to come out the woodwork, right? And now that every day an injustice is it's coming out every day. Every day there's an injustice coming out, right? And I feel like now they got too many eggs in their basket, and they don't know what they're supposed to do. Like, I for real, I feel like wrongful convictions within the next couple years is going to bankrupt Cuyahoga County. They ain't gonna have no prison because they ain't gonna have no money.
You know what I've been thinking? And I think different,
We know you think different, Bernard, but I love it.
But you've been making them aware and making the public aware for quite a while of their errors and their wrongs and their violations. And they ain't did nothing. So it tells me either they're so entrenched in doing it and that you're like water on a duck's back, or they just don't care. All right.
And that's what I think it is. I think that they haven't cared for too long, and now it's catching up to them, which we're going to talk about like indirectly, because I don't want to be name thrown or anything. Obviously, when I talk about the prosecutor, we already know who we're talking about. I don't care to expose him because we have to. O'Malley. While we were sitting in the courtroom yesterday, filed a motion against a lawyer for a gag order.
What?
Yes, for a gag order, Marie. A gag order. Who does that?
Right.
And I don't even care, because I already told her. She knows how outspoken I am, and she knows there ain't no filter with me, and she knows I don't hold back. But Michael O'Malley, I'm asking you myself, how dare you? Like, it's seriously like real petty. Like, when I read it, like he's got, he doesn't really have emotion. I mean, the way he's trying to do it, I guess he has some type of input, but I read her reply and she's right. Like, how are you going to attack me? Like, you don't even have a Facebook. All my stuff's private. Do you have a private investigator after me, per se? And to me, it's like he's intimidating. Because she really didn't do anything wrong.
Matter of fact, in the motion he
That's
filed,
not personal.
It is very personal.
In the motion he filed, every statute, every rule, every judicial canon, every code of ethics supports what she does.
Right. And that's kind of how she fired back at him. Because at the end of the day, in the case that he's doing it on, the man was, by the state of Ohio.
He's right.
He was wrongfully convicted.
Okay, but you can speak about what occurred with him, all right? But see, one of the things that I've been trying to advocate and push towards people is the realization that sometimes, forgive me, I hope I don't get in trouble with this, what they do is bullshit.
No, this is, you say what you want
okay.
around here.
And why is bullshit? Because it's strategy, all right? It's strategy to spread out your resources and your defenses. If I can get you looking to the right, and I'm trying to make a move to the left, then I'm gonna win.
Right.
And Kim is clever. She's very clever. She's a very good attorney, all right? And I'm sure she recognized that, because there was nothing in there really to justify the action that the man was asking.
He was being a crybaby.
But what he did, in my evaluation, I'm probably wrong, was he filed this. If she failed to respond, then I know she's gonna respond. She got to.
She already did. I got it in my email.
She got to respond, all right? Because if she failed to respond, then he can go to the judge and say, there's no opposition from the defense regarding my claim, done, all right? But what he did, he caused her to spend an unnecessary hour and a half, 2 hours on a document that was a waste of judicial time and resources, and it's frivolous, But that's what they do.
Oh, she had it real quick.
I mean,
She ain't spend no time.
She
didn't spend no time
you can do
waiting
that.
up the opposition. So I'm pretty excited about that because his biggest trip on her is the fact that have you heard about the T-Jin case, Marie?
No.
So T-Jin was incarcerated for 30 plus years, was accused of killing his now wife's brother. And
I have heard something about that.
Yes, was married by his lawyer. And they had an article about it and it went viral.
Wow.
So that's basically what majority of his stuff is. It's just like social media stuff. Like things have changed nowadays. Like, are you serious? I mean,
you can't hide the truth.
You can't. And that's the thing. Like it's all coming out. It's all coming out little by little by little by little. But I just thought it was just like a weird coincidence that while we're sitting in a courtroom and was just smacked in the face with injustice because, I mean, just looking at Isaiah, like, you had to have no compassion to throw that case not to throw that case out and dismiss it, honestly. That poor man.
I agree on humanitarian level, on a personal level. I've known the man for 50 years, 46 years.
Does anybody know Mike McGinty? Anybody watching? McGinty, if anybody knows about McGinty, call in. We want to hear. We want to hear what you know. For real. Because I want to know how he got on the bench. I want to know how he all retired. Oh my God, girl. After all those retired judges, how the hell was he appointed to Nancy McDonald's bench? Please, somebody tell me. I want to know. But no, seriously. Like,
you know what I suspect? I tell you all the time.
We gonna get him out of there.
Yeah, one, we're gonna get him out of there. But his friends, his associations, his involvements.
We gonna change that, Bernard. Right. That's what this is all about right here.
I believe that. But that occurs because, like, you know, the guy next door cuts your grass, you make sure his dog don't run off. Law enforcement and the judicial works hand in hand. All right. I mean, what you're saying is 1,000%
and I think,
correct.
And I think that's why Mike O'Malley is targeting her, because she's not one of those. Like, she's not out there golfing with y'all, coming to your weddings and partying with you guys. She's over here bulldogging without you. She don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's being the opposite of what they want her to be.
Yep. All right. She's an exception rather than a rule. You know, but one of the things we got to look at, we should look at, you know, and look deep into it. These guys went to school together.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
They golf together, you know, kids play soccer together, they go to dinners together. So therefore they have a certain degree of sticking together.
Yeah, they bond together.
Right? So as well as the case, hey, you ain't doing nothing. I'll tell you what, we're gonna point you to the next McDonald's bench because you need a few dollars, I'm gonna give you extra few dollars, and we'll throw a party over here. And this is how it happens. All right. And what you have to do is look further and see why it occurred or how it occurred.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because I'm not saying anything he's done is correct, but what it is, I don't feel that it should have been appropriate, especially with his background as a prosecutor in this county. All right. Which means that when he came into office, he absorbed all the past cases and he's supposed to have looked at them, glanced at them to see if they were actually done accordingly. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But a lot of things that occur in the system. I mean, I see it. I recognize it for what it was.
Hello, Devin. You're in studio with us on live. Are you going to talk? Would you like to share the news, Devin? I guess not. He's blowing me up. My almost 19-year-old son finally got his temporary license.
Oh, that's awesome.
After 10 times of trying. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't that many times. But I kept telling him, you got to keep trying. Don't give up. You know, he was getting frustrated. And then he started going back every day. And I'm like, see, there you go. But yeah, finally, because he needed them. He was like, he always begs me to drive my car. And I'm like, go get your license first. You know, because I already tried once. It didn't work. You don't know how to drive. At least if he has a license and he, you know, does something to the car, I'm covered. But yeah, sorry about that for interrupting, Bernard.
No problem. But what it is, and what I believe that we need to do, when we recognize these people are not suited for the position, or they're ill-suited for the position, look at how they got to the position and who, because see, it's a whole line of people that have done things in the courts that is not correct. And each one oftentimes cover up for the next one.
Right.
Cover for the next one. Matter of fact, back in my day, I'm a young man, but back in my day, you used to have certain attorneys that were known as fixers. Okay, this is how Cuyahoga County justice system worked. And these attorneys weren't proficient or effective in law, but they had hooks. You know, they could get you a lower case throw it out because they dealt with the prosecutor. This is my judge.
Right.
Okay, and this is what happened. As a consequence, as the years have continued on, the system has become more tainted, more corrupt, and more buddy.
Big old gang. I keep calling it the Irish gang. I don't care. I can say
buddy.
that. Those are my people. I can talk about them. I'm Irish too, y'all.
Right. But anyway, this is what's occurring. And what Epic is doing and what we're trying to do is correct this and change this.
Right.
And we will eventually.
We will.
But they're entrenched. They're entrenched. They've been doing what they've been doing. You're just bringing
the much needed
to the light
attention.
Things that they've done for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a minimum of 50 years. You know, one generation after another. All right. And as a consequence, it's hard to get people when they're entrenched in something. It's just so difficult, you know.
Right.
And you know, sometimes the next one replace them is just as bad, and it creates a certain little, you know, animosity, and we're gonna get them guys and Let it be what it be. But one of the things that I've learned over the course of the years in my litigation, when they do something, I don't get upset. I look at it and I ask myself, why would they do that?
Right.
It don't make sense. But like we was on the way to Lansing, I got a little saying. You put any word you wanted in this thing. But crazy folks do crazy things for crazy reasons, and you never understand it unless you're crazy. Unethical folks that do unethical things for unethical reasons, and you never understand it.
That's Epic's VP's favorite.
Right.
She's like, Bernard, what was that saying again?
So as a consequence, when they do something crazy, all right, you may never understand it, but you got to look at the impact that it had on you. You know, like oftentimes in my litigation, it's called nonsense litigation, what Kim just got. It's nonsense.
It is very nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It's laughable nonsense.
But what it's designed to do is to allow you to have to expend effort, energy, and resources that you wouldn't ordinarily.
Right.
In hopes or expectation that you will miss something else. Okay? And you know, and they do it, and it's strategy. If I'm gonna put this in, the court is not gonna, you know, grant it, you understand? But she got to answer. If she don't answer, then I'm gonna push it to the court that she didn't answer. So therefore, if you fail to answer any filing,
right, it's automatic.
It's automatic. The court, hey,
automatic.
Boom. That's what that is. So, you know, I mean, this is information for anybody and everybody that's involved in the criminal justice system or any system whatsoever that involves litigation. All right. You got to think it. You can't feel it. All right. Because if you feel it, it'll take you off your mark.
Well, I'm allowed to feel it because I'm very emotional.
Well, you're a lady. You're a lady. You know, I mean, I'm not saying
and
anything
I
bad
feel
about
it,
you.
y'all. I be feeling it.
You
Y'all don't
feel it,
understand.
you know. But you never get angry. All right.
I don't. I mean, no, I don't. I get aggressive.
You get angry.
No, I don't get angry.
You get angry
No, I do.
when you're confronted with nonsense that is nonsense. Why would you waste my time with this frivolous filing? That's what's actually, you know, and actually that filing is a waste of judicial time and resources.
Yeah, I agree. Just like sitting in that courtroom was today too, y'all, for hours. And I just said, man, you know, it ain't cheap to park downtown. It ain't cheap to park downtown.
What is it?
And I already spent $20 these last 2 days for absolutely nothing. But I will spend another $200 to make sure that justice is served for Isaiah Andrews, y'all. Like I said, if you don't know about him, please Google him. He's been trending these last 24 hours plus. Caduce to Seriously, Scott Knoll, Channel 5, 19 Action News also did a reporting on him, and so did Fox 8 and Scott Knoll. Oh my God, their reporting was just absolutely fabulous. And you know, Scott Knoll actually put more into my angry self. You know, Isaiah Andrews was sentenced the year before the Justice Center was built. He was sentenced in the old courthouse in 1974.
Is it okay if I run through explanation of his case?
Absolutely, Marie, please.
Okay, so let me start here. A judge on Tuesday ordered a new trial for 83-year-old man who has been released from prison after 45 years because another judge found numerous issues with his 1975 murder trial. Visiting Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Timothy McGinty ruled against defense attorney's motion to dismiss this case against Isaiah Andrews, who was released from prison last year after another judge reversed his conviction in 1974 in the killing of his wife and ordered a new trial. That prior judge, Robert McClellan, determined that the police prosecutors failed to disclose information about another suspect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That right there.
Yeah, which could have led the jury to find Andrew not guilty during his initial trial. There was evidence that the defendant committed the crime, but it's also evidence that he may have well changed the outcome from the original trial. McGinty said during the hearing, "We don't know, but we'll now know." McGinty's decision sets up an unusual trial that is set to begin on Tuesday afternoon with the jury selection. Prosecutors will read to the jury transcripts of the 1975 trial because most of the key witnesses and the initial police investigators have kicked the bucket.
Had y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Wasting taxpayer dollars for no good reason, honestly.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can talk about the specifics of what I heard in the courtroom, so I'm not going to state the specifics. It's going to eventually come out, right?
Yeah.
But the evidence they have on the other guy is absolutely insane.
So check this out.
Overwhelming evidence.
Yeah, so
overwhelming.
Yeah, defense attorneys will present that evidence that initially wasn't disclosed to the defense team, including the disclosures about the initial suspect. Attorneys said Tuesday hearing they expect only one live witness. Yeah, so one of Andrew's attorneys, Marcus Sidoti, called prosecutors' decision to go forward with the trial instead of dismissing the case gross and disgusting.
It is.
Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office spokeswoman Lexi Gearing said it would be inappropriate to respond to Sidoti's comments because the court proceedings are ongoing. Andrews, who was in a wheelchair, told reporters as he left the courtroom he couldn't believe McGinty ordered a new trial instead of dismissing the old case. After 45 years, he does decide to retry the case instead of releasing me, Andrews said. "I don't understand. I'm not eager for a new trial, but I do want justice." A jury convicted Andrews of aggravated murder in 1974 and the slaying of his wife, Regina Andrews. A judge sentenced him to life in prison. Passerby found Regina Andrews stabbed to death in a wrapped-up hotel bedding in Forest Hills Park. The Innocence Project started looking into the case in 2015. It found Cuyahoga County prosecutors and Cleveland police never disclosed that police initially arrested another man in connection with Regina Andrews' death. The defense attorney argued that police initially had the right man, William Watts, who died in 2011. The then Cuyahoga County coroner initially told police that Regina Andrews was killed in the middle of the night when Watts had an alibi. The coroner later performed an autopsy and determined she died sometime around 9 a.m. in between 9 a.m. and noon.
What?
Yeah. By the time the coroner corrected the time of death, Watts had been released from police custody, and Isaiah had became their primary suspect. No physical evidence linked Isaiah Andrews to the murder. No blood was found in his car or his motel room. Witnesses said he left the motel early in the morning and returned later. He reported his wife missing later that day. Detectives found the bedding could have come from several area hotels, including the Howard Johnson Motor Inn, where Watts was staying at the time, and the Colonial House Motel on Euclid Avenue, where the Andrews were staying while searching for a home to buy 4 weeks after they were married. Investigators also honed in on Watts because he was accused of breaking into his mother's home near Forest Hills Park sometime after the killing. He then tried to sell items he stole in order to leave town. Watts was accused 3 times of attacking women, including twice with a knife. He was found guilty in 1 case, and prosecutors dropped the charges in the other 2. Andrews, a new defense attorney, also argued that he was convicted largely on testimony of 2 women whose stories changed over time. A Colonial House employee originally told police that he saw Isaiah Andrews leave his room with a large bag. When she peered into the room, the bedding was missing. She testified that she made the disclosure after she became angered that the private investigator working with Isaiah Andrews initial defense team questioned her about whether she was engaging in prostitution. So that was her angry answer. Bitch.
Right.
Another woman staying in the room next to Andrews originally told police she heard nothing out of the ordinary. She later said she heard Isaiah Andrews threaten to kill his wife the night before her death. Investigators never disclosed their statement to Andrews' initial attorneys. Cuyahoga County prosecutors argued that the jury would have found Andrews guilty if the reports were disclosed at the time. Wow.
Right.
They argued that the judge or jury should decide the case based on transcripts from the original trial along with newly discovered reports. So
from 1974.
Yeah.
Let me say something real quick. All right, because I got to leave, bro. I got somebody I got to go see. But I want you to answer a question for me. All right? I mean, it's simple. I just see things in simple terms. Yes, no, hot, cold, on, off. All right? Judge McGinty is who? He's a Cuyahoga County Prosecutor alumni.
Yeah.
Do you ever think that he's going to side with the defense? He's an alumni. Okay? I mean, that's the battle.
Right.
All right? He's the alumni. He used to be the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor. No doubt. It's still individuals in the County Prosecutor that's his friends.
No, for real.
That's his buddies.
Right.
And he's one of the alumni.
No, I know.
So he's I mean, it's Isaiah is going to get found not guilty, guaranteed. I've known Isaiah for 1,000 years.
He better.
And I mean,
He better,
he's one of the
y'all.
most
I'm telling y'all right now, he better.
He's one of the most upstanding, disciplined, directed individuals I ever encountered in my life during the course of numerous incarcerations. He's highly respected. We spoke today. I'm gonna go over there and see him. We got some old memories to dredge up because we've been through some things that most folks don't realize. But Isaiah gonna handle it, guaranteed. Isaiah gonna handle it.
And it was just great to see today that he still had that same faith and hope. I mean, even though he was let down yesterday, he definitely is. He's a little fragile man, but he's definitely strong-hearted.
He's been through some things that most folks would have been to die from.
Right.
You know, but the Lord has blessed him, and like He's blessed me. But anything that McGinty do, I'm not surprised. Why?
No, because he's been doing it forever and ever and ever. Yeah, the number to call in is 216-939-5087. Please call in for anything, any questions, concerns, want to talk about something. We definitely would love to hear what you feel on, what we've talked about with the Isaiah Andrews case and how you feel if you've had any interactions with McGinty, whether they're positive or negative. Like, we want to hear. We want to hear your opinions on how you feel. We want to know how you feel about him being appointed to take over this bench. How you feel about him being appointed as a visiting judge. Call in 216-939-5087.
My reading of it is that the reason why they put McGinty on there, because he's unlikely. I'm not saying that he won't. He's unlikely to make any ruling or any judicial decision that may prove to be embarrassing to Cuyahoga County. I mean,
you don't think yesterday not dismissing that case wasn't embarrassing enough?
Well, it was embarrassing to the public, but to
not to his people.
No.
I mean, to us,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, it was embarrassing to the public, and it kind of opens our eyes up
everywhere.
Exactly,
and I mean, you guys, it trended. That trended everywhere. Like it was crazy.
He has maintained the status quo. He has been who he is. What is he? He's an alumni of the prosecutor's office.
I get it.
All right.
Wrong choice, Cuyahoga County, wrong choice.
That's what it's going to be. Matter of fact.
And now O'Malley. Well, hey, we've been asking O'Malley for a sit down. We want to talk to you. We were just out there yesterday asking you to come out and talk to us. Oh no, we know it ain't gonna happen. It's only happened one time, and I got to give shout outs to Jail Coalition because they had him down at the table, but nothing he said was nothing we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, he was voted in because he promised Tamir Rice's, and I don't care how you feel about that whole situation. He made that family promises, and they went out and made sure they got the vote for O'Malley. They put O'Malley into place, and he made promises even about the juveniles. And guess what? He's one of the worst prosecutors that are prosecuting juveniles. And when you were elected in, you promised you were going to take care of that problem, and you haven't.
But the man takes people to trial knowing they didn't do it, and he lies. And he lies. The same way he lied to the people's family. So at some point, somebody fooled himself and believed that a liar.
But are we going to continue to keep letting this man and these people do this shit to us? No. Or are we going to, it's time to stand up. And y'all, I don't know if y'all know, but we've been. We need y'all's help. No. For real.
No. We have to be steadfast.
Donate to us at least if you can't be here. I mean, shit. Y'all know what we could do with some money? Billboards, advertisement. I mean,
transportation costs. Attorney fees, everything.
Yes, we can build our own legal team and take people down one by one. We need funds. We definitely need funds, John.
All right. So that when election time come again, if nothing else, we can campaign against him.
Amen. Right? We can put somebody in place because we cannot continue to keep voting. And listen, I was actually late today because it is crazy busy over here. Where we're stationed at in studio, we're right by Board of Elections. And actually on the 22nd, I've been working with Serge, standing up for racial justice. Standing up for racial justice. I always say that. Standing up for racial justice. We've been phone banking and canvassing for issue 24. And like I said, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. But we need to start somewhere, and oversight is definitely needed. And police cannot police themselves no more. The judges cannot judge themselves no more. The prosecutors need to prosecute themselves some more. But no, for real, people, we gotta start boots on ground, talking out, speaking out, showing up, sitting in these courtrooms, letting these judges and these prosecutors and everyone down at that justice center know, like, the time now is to shape up or shape out, because we ain't playing no more. We're gonna make sure that people are out here voting. I bet you them voting rates are going to start going up within the next couple years. I know they were down for the mayoral race, but we're going to make sure within these next couple years, we definitely flip Cuyahoga County Justice Center. I was actually, Bernard too, we were talking to a lot of students, I wouldn't say a lot, but we did talk to several different students at that event last Friday, and they're young. And that's what we need to do. We need to start putting, that younger generation who.
What does the Bible say? You train a child as a youth and da-da-da. All right? And that was my focus when I went. I was late. I'm always late. But I was late. But what my direction was I want to get with these students, all right? Perhaps get them on what I think is the correct path before they get tainted by their peers and the system as it is now.
Right.
Okay. That way, it give us a little leverage, maybe after I'm long gone. But what is happening now may stop happening, all right? As long as you have attorneys that are passing the bar and coming into the field of practice who are the same caliber as Ms. Corral.
Right.
All right? And that's what we need.
And I love that she's teaching these people. I think that's why people are intimidated.
They're real set on what they're trying to do. I pick up what I dropped y'all, excuse me. But that's what my focus was, because once they listen to their friends and the peer pressure and the system as it is, by the time you get him, you can't do nothing with it. He might come out of law school the first year and he's about the right thing. Next year he's selling people, crossing people, lying people,
right,
and doing shoddy work. That's what has to stop.
For sure.
And that's my focus. Why I went. I want to speak to some of the students. I passed out some cards. I passed out my litigation.
Yeah, Bernard and I actually been networking a lot, whether it's together.
And we're gonna put it together in a minute. And watch out. We're coming. We're on the show.
We're definitely on the move. Action over cloud.
We
we definitely been working our butts off. Especially this last week, if not last month and a half.
Last month and a half. We've been rolling late.
Yeah, Keyshawn, hopefully he makes it. It was pretty busy out there though. I'm not sure if everybody was going to do early voting or not. But we will be meeting at ACLU on Friday at 3 p.m. We are hosting an event with Standing Up for Racial Justice. We will be marching to the polls at 3. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, at 4. And then after we do early voting, in solidarity, y'all, early voting in solidarity this Friday, or I'm sorry, October 22nd. Is that this Friday?
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Woo, losing my days, y'all.
This
So,
Friday
this
coming
Friday
up?
coming up.
All
3
right.
o'clock, ACLU,
Can't make it.
march to the polls, early voting. So hopefully y'all vote yes on issue 24. I have to say that, y'all. Sorry. In support of search.
I'll be here.
And then after early voting, there's a concert. TZ from St. Clair, who was a formerly incarcerated individual. He spent several years at Marion doing fabulous things out here in our community. And especially with the youth, I love watching him grow with his little boys. He is just too cute. But yeah, he's supposed to be performing. And then there's also another performer. I'm not really familiar with him, but there's a concert afterwards. So definitely some fun to be had and some refreshments. So come out if you're able to. Again, that's October 22nd. We're meeting at ACLU at 3 p.m.
I'll be here.
And then voting day is November 2nd. It's right around the corner, y'all. My son just got something in the mail today.
I'll be here. I'll come up.
About voting, telling him how to do it because he's 19. He's about to be 19 anyway. So, and I'll definitely be making sure him and his girlfriend or his little friends vote.
And people out there, when your children become an age, encourage them. Please encourage them to vote. All right. The way to have a say in any governmental
Especially
thing,
locally.
locally, just vote.
Vote,
That's your
vote,
American
vote.
right. Don't throw it away. Don't squander it. Don't ignore it. All right. I mean, you go back 1,000 years. I always say 1,000 years because I'm only 900. But anyway, you go back
He's crazy.
all the way, and you see there's always been directions in voters registration. All right. I even got an example with Al Capone in it.
Mhm.
All right. Everybody always talking about Al Capone. All right. If you haven't heard it, I ask people sometimes, what did Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, and Al Capone have in common? Well, Martin, Lord bless him, he had the Southern Baptist Conference leadership. That was his voting bloc. And that's why he got so much recognition and note, and certain things happen. All right. President Johnson helped him get through
Right,
that.
right.
All right. Civil rights thing. Barack was able to get the LGBT people together, and they pushed him in. Now, Al Capone, this is what happened to Al Capone. Al Capone was in Chicago. They ran Al Capone out of Chicago. He went to Syria, a little town outside Chicago. Through rook and crook and the muscle of his goons, he convinced everybody in Syria, either you vote my way or we're going to beat you up, or worse. All right? Now, what the man did wasn't right. I'm not trying to justify anything, but I'm able to recognize that what he was able to do was create him a voting bloc.
Right.
And he got things changed. He got things, made or agreed to in his favor, which gave him
Power.
power.
Right.
All right. And as individuals, as communities, as families, as released offenders, as people, as brothers, sisters, wives, mothers, and fathers of those incarcerated, we need to collectively get together, establish a voting bloc,
Amen.
and get some relief for our people, man. We're taking a whooping.
I
I got another one for you.
Go ahead.
Do anybody know what a drowning man's first words is?
No.
Help.
It's
You don't
always
care who
help.
help.
Everybody says help, right?
Right, help.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. We need some help all the way across the board. We recognize what the problem is. We have a solution to the problem. But what we need is what a drowning man cries for. Help.
Oh,
All right? In the place of votes, in the place of contributions, in the place of donations, in the place of support. All right?
Amen.
It's the only way that we can get things done is if we do
Coming
things
together.
collectively.
and
Yeah.
together.
If not, you be, oh man, they did but my son's so wrong. Okay, your son is not the only one.
Right.
They're doing it
Everybody.
systematically.
It don't matter who you are. You could be next.
Yes, you can be next.
You could be next. Someone in your family could be next, and then it'll be personal to you. And it's like, we've been knowing you for how long and why, and that's the thing. Like, even though you're not deeply affected by incarceration, like, some of us are, you can still have compassion and care, and especially care about the injustices that are really going on right now in our court here in Cuyahoga County. Yesterday was absolutely disturbing to me. Absolutely disturbing to me. To see an 83-year-old man sitting in a wheelchair with an ankle monitor bracelet on his ankle. And I mean, no offense, his legs no bigger than my arm, okay? He's sick. He's ill.
He's ill.
He was battling cancer. And for Tim McGinty to have absolutely no compassion, because honestly, that's all it would have took, because there was no evidence. There is no evidence, period. The statement actually, the difference between the statements, like the lady had like 5 different statements, but the first one was just, they were great, there was no problems. And then by like the 4th or 5th one, she added like aggression in there and, extra, like, he was carrying the bag out. Like, all that stuff got added in after, like, the 4th or 5th statement. Like, obviously, she was coerced. Now, back in 74, I mean, people probably didn't know what coerced meant. Back then when they were just starting their little gang, nobody, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I just felt like they just totally disregarded that whole Brady evidence violation.
Brady violation. They're supposed to provide you with all the evidence, all right, including inculpatory and exculpatory.
And those sheets that they said his wife was wrapped up in that article that Marie read for us, were stamped. I mean, hotel sheets. And then if anybody is a hotel worker, you can call in and explain to people if they need to hear about it. But they're stamped by the hotels that they come from. So they were able to trace those back to the other man's room where he stripped the room and had that man arrested and let him go before the actual autopsy came back. That was their fault.
Yeah.
Their fault.
And bull crap.
Bull crap. And we're still trying this 83-year-old man for their bullshit. And it's sad. It's sick.
It don't make sense. And
we, the people, should be angry. Like, these are our tax dollars being wasted.
Yes.
30 people. They had a jury picking of 30 people. Just wasted time for no good reason, honestly. Because no one in their right mind, honestly, I feel like nobody in their right mind would have been so.
It was inhumane how they doing it.
It was immoral.
The man, I mean, forgive me, y'all.
It makes me want to cry right now.
Well, don't cry, please don't.
I cried yesterday when media swarmed in his face and he started to talk. And, Isaiah, for those that don't know, Isaiah had throat cancer. So obviously, like, his speaking ability is not anything. He's not as loud as us, that's for sure.
Right.
And he told me he's very thankful for my outspokenness. But to hear him even try to say all he wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. He couldn't. He wasn't capable. He was not physically capable to do so. And it did it. It broke my heart. It tore me down, and I couldn't control it. I broke down and started crying, and I ran out the courtroom because I didn't want him to see me vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But it was just so immoral and so inhumane and just so uncompassionate. And I just...
Inhumane.
It was absolutely the total opposite of when I sat in the courtroom with you in Calabrese. Let's just say that. Because remember that day I was like, oh no, Bernard, you're good. Like, I seen the compassion in him.
I'm rumbling. I'm going to rumble. I'm going to do that. All right. And let me tell you something about this here that disturbs me more than anything else. Okay. I know Isaiah. I've known him for many years. Like I said, the man has always been upstanding and I'm so sorry, about what occurred with his wife, but I'm also sorry about what's occurring with him because man is
now he's got to relive that. I mean, it's not like the victim on his case was someone he just didn't know, right?
I mean,
it was his wife.
When is enough is enough?
Enough is
The
enough.
man that did 46 years.
46
He's
years.
83 years
Right.
old.
And
one of the concerns supposed to be.
And we know that he's innocent and wrongfully convicted. They already ruled that. So let's just say, even if he did do it, 46 years.
Come on.
Even if he did do it.
He is definitely not a threat to the community.
46 years.
He is definitely not a threat to the community.
And who
who
is he being held hostage by? The Adult Parole Board, which is something Epic's really trying to do their diligence and at least try to make it diverse.
When is enough is enough?
When is enough enough? Well, enough is enough now, and we will no longer be silenced. No longer, no more. Will we continue to let them step all over us? Bernard's getting ready to step out. So you guys are stuck with me for a moment.
You're stuck with him for a minute. But listen, we'll be back next week. I'm going to tell you about this here. Seriously.
Go ahead.
There was a judge, and I'm going to see these people now, and I don't agree with what occurred, but they switched up the transcript a little bit. But this judge told this young man, even though he was eligible, she does not give community control probation to individuals that haven't been vaccinated. Now, I looked at the statute 1,000 times, backwards, forward, frontwards, turn the page over. And nowhere do I see that that's a criteria or
Kim's so funny. I love you if you're watching.
Of getting probation. So I'm going to talk to these people, and because it shouldn't happen like that. All right, because the individual, that's like Wade versus Roe. It's your determination what you want to do with your body. Right. I've been vaccinated. Other people say they don't. Okay, but that should not be a factor as to whether or not an individual is given community control. Okay. I mean, and then if he hasn't, and they send him down to penitentiary, he's really at risk. So why would you put somebody that is going to serve less than a year? Okay, mass incarceration thing again, overcrowding the system. Why would you put anybody at risk like that? You know, that's not
inhumane. Being
compassionate on the judge, or being understanding, or being a real person. I mean, just wouldn't do it. I mean, it's other things that you could do. They could have put him on an ankle monitor rather than Isaiah. Right. But you want to send him down 71, get him a number, put him in a death camp more or less, and then bring him back with no treatment, no nothing.
Yeah, because for people that don't know, COVID is running rampant in the prison still.
They shut it down.
I mean, again, I should say again.
You know,
my husband's actually been sick the last couple of weeks, and he went to the nurse, and they told him he's vaccinated. It's just an upper respiratory infection.
Ain't that a dog's name?
I swear that's what they told him. Gave him some Claritin, sent him back to the block, checked on him the next day, no fever. You'll be all right.
That's that substandard medical care that you get.
That great medical care. All right, Bernard. Love you.
I love you too, lady. Hey, I'll see you Friday.
Yeah.
Jesus, you working. You're going to be like, okay.
I know, someone, I mean,
God. Feet don't fail me now.
Nope, for sure. Feet don't fail him now. Nor will the system fail us either. So yeah, that was Bernard Keith, y'all. One of my great friends, an epic public relations advisor. He does excellent litigation work. We're actually going to hopefully put together a couple different projects here soon. I've been working a lot with Bernard and Dexter Walters. Shout out to Dexter. We've been working with his church, Leviticus, out in Garfield.
Okay.
Very nice setup, very nice church. And the pastor's amazing. And he's like very compassionate, and, you know, his faith is great. So, you know, as long as you are willing to help people are willing to help you. So we've been meeting with him like every Thursday. The last couple of Thursdays we've had to take off last week because we were in Michigan this week. Pastor's out of town. So we'll resume next week. But the ideas that Bernard comes up with is just absolutely fabulous. And I love it because obviously I've never been incarcerated. I just live it with my husband. But he's been there. He knows. He's sued the parole board several times and won his cases and came home. So he's very knowledgeable. He's a very great guy. And I just absolutely love being able to work with Bernard. He's just amazing. So that's why you guys always see Bernard with me. He's part of Epic. Yeah, so we talked about events. We talked about our past events. Nothing new as far as hubby and I go. I was hoping he was going to be able to call in today. The phones are still crappy in the institutions.
Okay.
That switching over to GTL is like majorly screwing things up. So it's been horrible. And it's not just him. Even our offender calls, when people call us on the business phone, am I choppy? Can you hear me? And it's absolutely horrible. Hopefully someday it changes, as much money as we put into that crap. But as people should know, the prison industry is a big business complex. Everything that surrounds incarceration, DRC, whatever your state calls it, they're profiting off of us. They're profiting off of families. They're profiting off of taxpayers. It's sickening, for real. Mm-hmm. It's very sickening. It's costing us as taxpayers $80 a day to keep one person incarcerated. Mm-hmm. $80 a day, y'all. We don't even spend that on our kids in the school system. Right. $80 a day per student. Could you guys imagine how much geniuses our kids would be? But no, they don't want that. They want to keep our prisons full. They want to continue to keep setting our kids up for failure on that prison, that school to prison pipeline. It's something real. I just text Keyshawn. Hopefully he can come in. Yeah, he's on his way. So good. You won't have to hear from me the whole entire time. We don't have much time, but so Keyshawn, let me talk about him a little bit. Mm-hmm. National Black Accord. He had reached out to me about our wrongful conviction rally and was like, hey, look, I've been watching you. I've seen you out here. You're very vocal. You're very outspoken. He was like, I think I have a plan to be able to bring the people together to mobilize, different organizations, because like I always tell people, not one organization, not one person is going to be able to change anything, period. But he showed up on wrongful conviction day. I actually was going to try and give him some speaking space, but I was so busy and overwhelmed that I just obviously forgot about it. But, no disrespect. He still was like, oh, no big problem, And we connected after the event. And I just absolutely love hearing like just his perspective and, him talk about, the changes that need to happen and this, that, and the other. He's like a political type fighter. So he has a lot to say. Right. Me and him's been preaching. We want a meeting with O'Malley, Prosecutor O'Malley. We want to sit down and speak with you. For real. I mean, it's time. It's time. How you got away this last running without somebody running up against you is beyond us. Just like how we are extremely clueless on how McGinty's back on the bench. It's extremely right. That's what I was about to say. It's disheartening to know how easy it is for you guys to keep this corruption just continuously brewing and not think that it's going to come out. Because more so now than ever, I promise y'all, we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep exposing it. We're going to keep talking about it. If we have to show up every court session we can, or make sure that people are there in support of it, we're going to do it. Just know, we, the citizens of Cuyahoga County and even elsewhere, now nationally, and that's, I think, why O'Malley's being a crybaby, is because your bullshit's being exposed, period. All of it. Starting back to Tim McGinty. Period. You heard Marie, period. Yeah, it's time. And I honestly, this week has been a real eye-opener to me. Especially, with Isaiah Andrews being denied justice, because that's straight what it was. Tim McGinty should have definitely dismissed that case. He's been waiting a year for trial. He's been doing fine, other than his health issues. Not out here causing trouble. He's 83 years old. And you said the last resort would be to throw the case out. How is this just? How is that even fair? How is that even explainable? And I will give it to his defense team. He does have a badass defense team. Shout out to Friedman and Gilbert. Okay. Terry Gilbert, Brian Howe with OIP, and Marcus Sidoti. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Don't shoot me. Sidoti, yeah. Got to shout them out. They actually gave me a great shout out on their law firm page and called me a terrific organizer. Yeah, I know. It definitely made my day. Yesterday was just, like I said, it was disheartening just to see that this judge would put this man through another trial at 83 years old. And like I said, the victim's his wife. So
That's crazy.
It's just so much more traumatizing. And honestly, Marie, like, I just feel like they're just trying to put him in his grave before they will exonerate him, before they have to compensate him. Like, they feel like if they drag it out a little longer, Isaiah's going to give up. But Isaiah's not going to lay down. We're not going to let him. We're going to continue to fight. And yeah, until it's free him now, we will not be silenced. Phone lines are open, y'all. I see a couple people are tuning in. 216-939-5087. Let's talk about it. I want to know how people feel about Isaiah Andrews being convicted, retried, I should say, reconvicted of a crime that happened back in 1974. And they had a suspect they released before the autopsy results. So the suspect is not dead. Most of the eyewitnesses are dead. So they're basically retrying this man on 1974 documents and statements. I've heard numerous times while sitting in that courtroom from any attorney or judges or all these important people, you know, there's people always walking through, going back to the chambers or wherever they go when they go behind the scenes. And they said, I've never seen anything like this, ever. This is unheard of. Unheard of. 46 years this man spent incarcerated wrongfully for killing his wife. And they had a suspect the entire time, y'all. Visiting judge, Tim McGinty, is retrying him, pushing him through another trial, which yesterday they did the jury selection. They'll finish it up. They were supposed to finish it up today, but literally we sat in a courtroom today from 9 a.m. until 1:30 and never even seen the judge, never rose for the judge, never nothing. And it's crazy because the defense team in the state went to the back and obviously deliberated. They were back there for a good hour and a half. All of a sudden, the prosecutor, the team, whatever lady or whoever comes outside, grabs the court reporter and takes him to the back, makes him take all of his stuff to the back. So we're all looking, you know, like, oh my God, is this good news? Could they just be like dismissing the case now and they just want it on record? Or, you know, what's going on? You know, hopes up again, right? No. Here comes everybody walking out. I was like, oh, sweet, we're starting now. Nope, court's adjourned. So they're just, like Bernard said, it's just like a bullpen type situation. You know, McGinty's just not trying to let his state down, prosecutors down. And them prosecutors just watching their body language and just the way they were just sitting at the table and just, they were aggressive and they looked angry. And they should be, because they have absolutely nothing. Like, there's no way in hell that this shit's going to fly. As long as the people know about it, it's not going to fly. And luckily, now that he's being retried, he'll be able to do appeals and everything else. So even if McGinty does do the wrong thing and the state does the wrong thing with influencing this jury that he's guilty, the fight won't be over. That's for damn sure. And I'm just thankful that I was able to like show up in solidarity. Yep, wearing my National Organization of Exonerees shirt. Shout out to my Michigan exonerees.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Ken Nixon and Marvin Cotton Jr. Ken messaged me today and said, you know, the guys, they were all just, you know, very appreciative of me sporting their shirt. And I said, it's crazy because it's flying all over the news. They caught me fist bumping Isaiah yesterday outside the courtroom. And it was, you know, like, you know how the news are. They're always on, you know, watching those moments or whatever. And my husband's like, was you on the news yesterday? I'm like, for a moment. It was like 5 seconds of fame, you know? I was like, but I didn't do no interviews or nothing. He was like, I think I seen you. Were you wearing black and yellow? That was me, babe. Yes, that was me. Fist bumping another man. No, poor Isaiah though.
Yeah.
Oh, and then let me tell y'all today about, so my husband, I hadn't talked to him at all yesterday. I had gotten a JPay from him. SRT, which is the goons, came and tore up the blocks. So they had them sitting, you know, in the gym and tearing up their homes, houses, whatever they call them, whatever. So they tore him up all day yesterday. I finally got a JPay from him telling me that he'll try to call me when he can, if he can. You know, the SRT came by. So anyways, he calls me today while I was sitting in the courtroom waiting for things to happen. And I answer it. And it was the first time I talked to him in a couple of days. So I was just excited to finally hear his voice. But as I'm on the phone call with my husband, now mind you, I was considerate and took my call out where the elevators are, like out the way of everyone else. And this guy was just like standing there listening on my conversation. And then I said to my husband, like, it's weird to be sitting in McDonald's court on her floor again. You know, it's like deja vu. We're in the same settings, you know. And this guy dips in my conversation and tells me not to talk about his sister. Excuse me? This is my conversation, not yours. Mind your business. And then I was informed today, which I didn't know this, but her whole family's inside that Justice Center.
What?
Yeah, her whole family's inside that Justice Center. And I'm not for sure which positions or where at, so I'm not going to be misleading and throw it out there. But let me find out. Let me find out. Or if anybody knows, let me know. Please let me know. Because I'm telling you, we're done. We're done with allowing the injustices just to be not talked about. I mean, and that's the biggest thing. Like, I did want to bring some awareness to this motion for this gag order, because the reason why O'Malley is putting a gag order against her is because she's telling the truth about what is happening inside of our system, the injustices. I mean, just because she ain't hanging out with you guys and on your guys' little, you know, dirt and deeds, but doing the right thing for the people doesn't mean that you have to personally attack her. And honestly, O'Malley, it looks like you're intimidated by a female. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm telling you, her work is fabulous. And the motion just, it's 84 pages, y'all.
Woo, that's a lot.
84 pages.
Yeah.
And he exhibited Epic in it. So now it's personal, buddy. Now it's personal. So I'm actually really excited what's going to unfold from here on out, especially with the mishappenings from yesterday, and then, you know, Mr. Bulldog O'Malley and his shenanigans, because that's bullshit. You know, me and my attorney are texting back and forth yesterday about my husband's files, and then she messaged me like, you were quoted. Like, what do you mean I was quoted? And then she's, you know, she told me, O'Malley, you're a bastard. Keep my name out your mouth. Keep my organization's name out your mouth. We're out here doing the great deeds of the people, for the people. But for sure, y'all, voting's coming up. And I know, like, none of them are in there to be voted on, but definitely the mayor. We definitely need to make sure that we're voting right when it comes to this mayor. We got one that's definitely for the people. And then we have one that's been stuck in the system forever. And we don't need that no more. It's time for real change. It's time for new change. It's time to put the right people in place. We got to stop giving control to those people that have had control and different titles. Yes. And ain't even did shit.
Yeah.
And ain't even did shit. Like, no offense. Look, Brashear, where you at? What you been doing?
Complaining.
I know that. But no, seriously. Like, I did. I had much respect when I first became in contact with him and acquainted with him. Like, I was like, oh, he sounds good. You know, he sounds like he's for the people. But then, like, the more I kept watching, it was just like, oh my God, like, are you going to be about this even after you lose or win? You know what I'm saying? So we definitely have to be careful. We definitely have to do our research, but it's needed. Voting is much needed. We have to do our diligence and vote. November 2nd, early voting is going on right now. You have a chance to do it in solidarity with EPIC and standing up for racial justice and the jail coalition. and OSA Cleveland and whatever organizations are tapped in. But definitely October 22nd, we will be meeting at 3 p.m. at ACLU. We will be marching to the Board of Elections, it's a short distance. And we'll be doing early voting. And hopefully we have encouraged enough people to vote yes on issue 24. We do know that it's not the best bill. We do know that there's discrepancies. Oh no, so did you hear about that city council meeting?
No.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
So the other day they tried to put in an emergency resolution against issue 24.
What?
Now it won't take it off the ballot, but it'll try to encourage people not to vote for it. They ended up moving that meeting to next week, and Serge actually did a great job putting a very fast action together with having people voice their opinions and send emails to all of the council members.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And within hours, we were told that they ended up taking it off of the agenda for the day. And then hours later had found out that they slipped it in for next week. But just know, y'all, we watching. They did have a city council meeting. I believe it's available. You can find it on YouTube, but they seriously had a city council meeting and they talked for 2 hours about issue 24 with the chief of police and, his people.
Mm.
And of course and I've canvassed, I've phone banked for this issue, and I've listened to a lot of opinions, and I'm very, I'm still stuck in the middle of it. But like I said, we got to start somewhere, right? And I know, like everyone, when they're thinking about issue 24 is thinking about police killings, right? Mm-hmm. It's not even about that. What about these wrongful convictions? What about these people that are coming out as exonerees? What about when police fuck up? Who holds them accountable? Nobody. Why? Because there's immunity. So even with issue 24, like, people need to take that in consideration too, because I'll tell you what, when I was working with a partner and they were talking about, just like when, the police kill our children and our people. And I'm like, well, listen, the first thing people are going to say, well, maybe their mom and dad should have raised them better. It ain't that easy, people. It's not that easy. And when you change the narrative around wrongful conviction, it kind of makes people really think about, wait a minute, you're right. Like, why should the police themselves when it comes to misconduct on a wrongful conviction? Does that make sense to y'all? Because it don't make sense to me. They most definitely shouldn't be in power of their own policing. Period.
So issue 24 will take effect upon adoption by voters. It says will transfer authority over to Cleveland Police from the mayor, safety director, and police chief to a reconstituted civilian police review board and community police commission. With complicated new rules, $1 million budgets governing reform civilian oversight of police.
Right. And it won't be just made up of anybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? I believe it is supposed to be very diverse.
They believe there's a lot of flaws in the issue.
They do believe there's flaws. Like I said, it's not perfect. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna fix everything.
We gotta start somewhere.
But it's definitely a great start, and it can be fixed. It can be implemented. It could be, things can be changed but we have to start somewhere. We have to start holding people accountable, period. Mm-hmm. The police, the judges, the prosecutors, anybody that's out here doing wrong that's covered by immunity, it's got to stop.
Yeah.
We have to abolish immunity.
Yes.
And until we do, corruption is going to continue to happen. We're going to continue to have wrongful convictions. Mm-hmm. We're going to continue having these cops out here thinking they're above the law, and they can just go out and pull their weapon and shoot whoever just because. There needs to be accountability. Mm-hmm. Period.
Can I read some of this?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, the charter amendment is awkwardly written, full of flaws and gaps, and likely to land in courts to parse and the legitimacy of its impacts on the city's collective bargaining agreements and arbitration, and on city council's control over its own budget, among other matters. Yet, issue 24 almost certainly will pass despite its flaws. It will pass because Cleveland officials tell the truth, shame the devil. Cleveland officials And police themselves have flubbed their chances to reform and fully and comprehensively how Cleveland police interact with the community pursuant to the 2015 U.S. Justice Department consent decree aimed at ending excessive police use of force.
So it's their fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's their fault.
Absolutely.
And this is one thing. This is like history.
Everybody's, all of them, the ones that were not guilty. You know why? And the ones that they claim were innocent. You know why? Because they sat back and watched it happen.
Right. Absolutely.
No,
and the thing is that like this is like history, right? Because as long as people are mobilizing out here, you know, reach one, teach one. This got on the ballot because of the power of people. So don't tell me we don't have the power. We just have to put it into place. We have to put it into play. We have to be persistent. We have to keep applying pressure. And y'all can gag order whoever the hell you want to. You ain't gag ordering me, period. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And it ain't even right. And it ain't even about my husband. Like this has nothing to do with the Kenneys right now, y'all. I know we're kind of off subject today, and you know, hubby ain't been calling in, so it's like who, you know, where's the Kenneys at? But believe in me, when I'm here, my man's here. right here. But yeah, so we definitely have to start somewhere, everywhere. Everything right now needs oversight. You know, the police need oversight. The judges, the whole courthouse needs oversight. The prisons need oversight. They actually have CIIC, but let me tell you, they ain't doing shit. And I think that's why Erica Crosley stepped down from it, because she was getting too much backlash about, you know, trying to say she didn't know about it. Nothing was going on. She's been here, there, and everywhere. And then when she was really in there, she's seen like we ain't lying. Parole board, Ohio's parole board definitely needs oversight. So yeah, like I said, it's a start, and this will be one time where I feel like it's going to be the power of the people.
Yeah. So listen, and they kind of elaborate on that. They say it will pass because the emotions driving issue 24 have become so virulent. A crisis of moral conscience supercharged by the families of those who have been abused, neglected, or killed by police, and by the insistence of achieving change so long promised but never adequately delivered. But also, above all else, issue 24 will be propelled to victory by the sense so palpable, so important among average Clevelanders that suddenly they have power to enact the change themselves simply by marking yes on their ballots. First of all, I can't stand writers like this. He's a butthole. He obviously is against it, and he can kick rocks with bare feet. But in truth, he says the voters' wishes will not be so easily achieved in practice. Change pursuant to issue 24 will be complicated. That's why planning needs to start now for what happens after issue 24 passes. And that part is true. Proponents of issue 24 scoff at warnings that police will quiet and pass, or that Cleveland will have a hard time recruiting police.
They already are.
Oh, come on. They're the truth. But the Cleveland police will face a lengthy period of rebuilding and reconstitution. And reconstitution should issue 24 become a part of the city's charter. Important that Cleveland prepare now for whatever that new reality might be. So
well, and what's funny about all of that is, you know, you got what's up? Keyshawn finally made it, y'all. National Black Accord in the house. Go ahead and have a seat. I don't know which side you want to stand, but either or. Not right there though, because you won't be on. Yep. So what's funny about that, Marie, is where was I going with that? Hold on a second. Let me step back for a minute. I was talking about something.
About the fight after the bill becomes, you know.
Well, and that's the thing. Like these. I was going to go about the reporter thing first. And I feel like with that whole. So the media is not like it used to be, right?
No,
it used to be all for, you know, the cops, all for the judges, all for, you know, and these investigators, especially Scott Knoll, Ed Gallick, shout out to y'all. They're exposing it for what it really truly is, right? And they're no longer on their side. So now they're feeling targeted. And now you want to put out a gag order because a certain article went haywire? Like,
that's crazy.
You're stalking her.
Crazy. Yeah.
You're personally attacking her. You're a creep. O'Malley, you're a creep. But let's sit down and talk. What up, Keyshawn?
what it is going on.
How you doing today?
I'm here finally.
Yes, he made it. Earlier, we talked a little bit about Isaiah Andrews and about the last 2 days. Actually, he stood in solidarity with me yesterday. We started off in front of the Justice Center, getting on the mic and spreading the much-needed education and awareness, and not just Isaiah Andrews' case, but just the injustices and the bullshit that's been happening. So how's your last 2 days been, Keyshawn? What you want to talk about?
Well, my last 2 days is far as every day that I do, get out and what I call it revolution, because it is about, getting the minds.
Real quick, just so you know, you are on the Voice of the Revolution.
Right on. And that's what it is. So these last 2 days have been a ramp up of this whole year, which is if you pay attention, if anybody's paying attention, is just a climate is changing, and people's consciousness inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter even, is turning over into a new leaf of something that they're seeking. And it's a vulnerable time for a lot of people, that it may be some information that's being put out here that, may be steering people one way that they think it is something that to follow. But it's real individuals out here. We can look in Cleveland, where we at. We're trying to be those individuals that hop out and let you know where to go. And so this thing that's going on right now with Isaiah is a prime example. It's a time loop, I should say, of showing you exactly what's going on, what has been going on, and he's a prime example of the not even just injustices, but the faults of the system. So it was pointed out to me. It was pointed out to me yesterday, and you pointed this out to me, that he was arrested. He was arrested wrongfully, in prison, and convicted before the Justice Center was even there, where his trial is being held at right now.
1974. So
over these last 2 days, and me knowing about this case, and a little bit I've known about this case for so long, and me sitting in there, it's just been extremely, even more motivating. And I'm an individual who don't need much more motivation than what I have.
Right.
But it's a dangerous thing for the individuals who have been on this path to sit in that courtroom and see this case, and see the man who was behind this case, who had his life snatched by the court. And
that was soul snatching.
Yeah.
When that judge straight said his last resort would be to dismiss the case, it was soul snatching.
The last resort. When how isn't it the last resort? When there is no key witnesses available to come up and vocally say anything about whether they want to recant what they said originally. Right. Which we know is all just everything is trumped up. It's all hearsay. Everything is trumped up. Yeah. So you don't have that the actual evidence of who actually did commit the murder, instead of this individual who's innocent that didn't have any DNA evidence. Mm-hmm. And these are things that everybody can go and look up. It's all public. There's record. No evidence, no forensics, and that's what we are supposed to be going off of. But the games behind the courts is whoever can get in here. It's politics. It's so nasty, and if we get enough individuals, enough people, to show and expose, not even just expose it. We will expose it. Just be in their faces, be in them courtrooms. Just sit there. Apply the pressure. Because how can you it's just, how can you just the job of being a prosecutor? How can you come in there knowing that this is nothing against this man? You have to build something to deter what innocence this person has, to keep them in behind these walls. And we know it's all a profit game. And this is what we always talk about, the nasty side of capitalism, not an individual wanting to be an entrepreneur and interact in free enterprise. It's not that. When you look at the definition of things, when you go inside the dictionary, you look at the definition, it's a definition 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be adjectives and a bunch of breakdowns and the syllables of what the word, how it's broken down and where its origin is. And we always talk about capitalism. We're not talking about somebody that just wants to go out and just make money, and that's all right. Okay, do your thing. You ain't the problem. But it's some high individuals who are sitting in certain seats that want to keep these individuals behind bars, because it's a certain financial structure that will hurt if these individuals were to clear their name. And they're trying to outweigh Isaiah to his death right now, so they can avoid all of those consequences.
Millions,
trying to avoid it.
And those millions.
Yeah, and honestly, he wouldn't even be paid millions because they don't compensate these guys and these women as they should. And I always say, like, they're the famous people of the world. They're, to me, the basketball players, the football players, like, they should be making that type of bank. But they don't. They really don't. Like, even if Isaiah was exonerated today and paid tomorrow, he's definitely not getting millions. They're just not going to do it. For 46 years, he definitely deserves at least $1 million per year. But realistically, it will never happen. Ever. And unfortunately, it's delayed justice, and delayed justice is denied justice, however you look at it, period. And what Tim McGinty did yesterday was absolutely immoral. It was disheartening. And like I said, it's very shocking, especially to me, to know that they appointed him back into the courtroom, period, by any title. Any title. Because it doesn't just start with O'Malley, y'all. It actually triggers back to McGinty.
Yeah.
It really, truly does.
Yeah.
And McGinty, I don't know if you can pull it up real quick, Marie, but McGinty was, he was accused of manipulating the grand jury against the cops for the Tamir Rice case. Mm-hmm. So you were already proven to be corrupted. And they have you sitting on a bench. We the people ain't gonna let that last much longer, and we're telling you, Isaiah Andrews' case will be an example moving forward in history. I promise y'all. Like this case is gonna be.
This case right here, and I tell individuals,
and I did speak on the gag order too a little bit too.
All the time. I tell them all the time. I keep telling them these last 2 days. I've been telling individuals who I talk to personally, this is his story, and I keep telling them, look. You're always talking about, you want to be down and all these other things or whatever. If stuff gets nasty, come and see how this stuff looks and how it feels. You feel so violated. You feel so, and she can tell you, she came to tears the other day.
I broke down.
Just out of, when we were walking out the courtroom,
It's sad.
And this is, and the thing is that, we always talk about officers, but those are just the agents, Anytime you deal with a kid and this kid is bad, you're going to talk to his parent. So these officers are just a little kid. They have parents, and their parents are these prosecutors. Mm-hmm. Their parents are, first of all, the governor, if you want to go up high. But the people the people can have a say and to switch the whole narrative. Like she was talking about the media. Mm-hmm. They try to infiltrate the media now, but it's been like I said, the climate has been changing. There's been too many instances of things happening. So now the media has switched to the profitable side, which is the people side. Now we have to use that. We have to, it's all the game. So we have to use that against the system, and we have to attack the system. So these prosecutors and these old judges that are decrepit and don't even, they're too old to they're too old to even make decisions. We revise codes all the time.
Yep.
How can we revise these individuals? But the people have to know. Nobody has ever told anybody about I've taught myself everything that I've known about anything that is considered on a revolutionary basis as far as going against a system of beasts and flipping it. We have to be non-biased and we have to be real. And the thing is that if we educate the people that we can effectively affect these criminals downtown, we have to go out to prosecutors, the judges, and we have to just bring it to the people. If we bring it to the people and we platform it and format it out the right way, mm-hmm. and we present it to them, whether we go to the hood, working class individuals, I consider myself a proletariat, which is representing the working class, and bringing the working class to power. We tell these people, we go and tell these students that's walking around, and we show them the injustices that have been happening. And that's when the people will come to power and change the dynamic of what's going on. We will have ethical law practice going on instead of just profitable law practice, which is totally against the people.
It really is. Yep. Together we rise, y'all.
And you got to stop that gag order too. That's and so what they're trying to do, they're trying to use their leverage against Kim, Miss Kim's license, and they're trying to use that to stop her from doing certain things because she's on a different side of the spectrum at this point. And what they can't do is gag the people, So the people, we're gonna move forward and educating the people on what they're trying to leverage against her, and the people will step up because we're gonna bring it to the people. Me personally,
Y'all already know.
This beast as well. We'll bring it to the people in a way that they'll understand the funniness of what's going on. And in a short time, they will, because it's already at work.
I think O'Malley's pissed off because he's not getting as much as fame and fortune as she is. So we're gonna definitely make sure your motion gets some coverage, buddy. We got you, Mally. So thanks for tuning in with us, y'all. Kicking it with
I'm sorry,
go ahead, Marie. Yep.
When they talk about issue 24, they talk about the new mayor, which will be Justin Bibb, and the other council people that'll be moving into position, after November 2nd. They says it starts by challenging the process and nominating diverse, experienced, and fair-minded board and commission members who will be able to exercise with due diligence and their outsized responsibilities. That's people like me and you.
Me and you.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. So that's something that
like this civilian board, like someone who Ruel, who was wrongfully incarcerated.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? Like people that have experience, they should, it's just insane that,
Yeah.
But you know what? The family of the police have themselves been their own gang.
Yeah.
They've always been for each other, never against each other. So, like I said, I've canvassed, I've knocked on doors of people who were police and told me get the fuck off their property.
Yeah.
I've had a woman, a really old 83-year-old woman, tell me no, her family's all police and she would never vote against anything. Okay, woman, that's fine. Goodbye. On to the next. You can't persuade everybody to feel the same way you do, right?
Yeah.
But you never know who you may persuade, so you might as well take that chance. Yeah, and that's what I'm about.
I'm the granddaughter and the niece of 2 police officers, and I don't give a.
One of my best friends. One of my best friends is a police officer. I actually had you remember my homeboy Swift Justice, the political prisoner? Yeah, he deleted me off Facebook and everything and banned me because I posted a picture of me and a cop together.
Wow.
Like I get it, like they are slave catchers and this and that, but like I tell everybody, there's good cops, there's bad cops, there's good teachers, there's bad teachers, there's good doctors, there's bad doctors, there's good people, there's bad people, period. Period.
Just to add to that point real fast, this is why I keep on saying the cops, the police, they are just whatever you want to call them. They are just the bad kid. You got to go to the parent.
Yeah.
Don't get so caught up because those are the street agents that you see. Go talk to his daddy.
And we're hoping soon. Actually, Keyshawn and I made a good connect yesterday. The former gang unit officer. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep connecting with her and she's able to come in studio with us and spread some light to some things that she's wanting to bring to the table and be in revolution with us. But we got the next host in studio waiting to take over the table and the studio. Thank y'all for joining in with Kicking It with the Kenneys. No Static Radio Production. The voice of the revolution, where we don't bring the static, but we show enough bring the noise. Till next week, y'all. Next Wednesday,